Introduction. The illusion. Insert your chosen hook here. This is the ultimate breakdown of Coca-Cola. Forget the heartwarming Christmas commercials. Today we decode the brutal matrix of capitalism, historical betrayals, and blood-soaked profits that built the world's most recognized brand. Chapter 1. The Cocaine Tonic. The blueprint started in the 1880s with John Pemberton, a wounded war veteran hopelessly addicted to morphine. Desperate for a cure, the chemist mixed a lethal concoction of the cola nut for caffeine and the actual coca leaf, which contained real, raw cocaine. He called it Coca-Cola, marketing it as a harmless brain tonic. Pemberton thought he was selling medicine. In reality, he was selling legal addiction. But right before the product exploded globally, Pemberton died broke and clueless, never knowing his sugar water would conquer the planet. Soon after, his successor bought the company, forged signatures, and burned the early records to cover his tracks. The empire was officially born in the dark. Chapter 2. Playing Both Sides, the Nazi Dossier. When World War II broke out, Coca-Cola executed the ultimate geopolitical hustle. At home, they wrapped themselves in the American flag, bribed the government to avoid sugar rationing, and built 64 overseas bottling plants, essentially turning the US military into a free global sales force. But behind closed doors, Coke was playing both sides. In Germany, they actively supported the Third Reich. They slapped the Coke logo next to swastikas, sponsored Hitler Youth rallies, and advertised in Nazi pamphlets. When the war cut off their secret syrup supply to Germany, the head of the German branch didn't panic. He used local food scraps and apple fiber to engineer a brand new drink for the Nazis. They called it Fanta, and when the war ended, all those Nazi profits flowed right back into Coca-Cola's American pockets. Weiss in Chapter 3. The Sparkle of Death. To keep the cash flowing, Coke implemented a cradle-to-grave strategy, signing exclusive, shady deals with underfunded schools to hook vulnerable children on sugar and addictive caffeine from day one. But their absolute dark peak occurred in Latin America. In the late 90s and 2000s, terrifying lawsuits struck the company. In Colombia and Guatemala, unionized workers fighting for a livable wage faced horrific violence. Death squads were allegedly hired to intimidate, kidnap, and execute union leaders. While corporate headquarters claimed the factories were independently owned, the human rights resistance was completely crushed. In parts of South America, they don't call it a refreshing drink anymore. They call it the sparkle of death. Conclusion. The yield code, from cocaine-infused beginnings and Nazi collaboration to stolen water resources and violent union crushing, Coca-Cola cracked the matrix. They proved that if your marketing budget is big enough, you can hide a century of corporate horror behind a red can and a smile. Welcome to the Yield Code. Subscribe, and let's decode the matrix together. Settings. Make the background music, suspenseful beats, add clean subtitles with no outline, use appropriate media, use a male clear American voice for the narrator.